Some sports teams have pretty cool origin stories, but how many can say they were born from the ashes of a city-defining catastrophe? Well, today, we're diving into the story of Chicago Fire FC, a club whose entire identity is literally forged in history. Let's get into it. It's a story that sounds almost too perfect, right? A team named for historic fire, rising up from nothing to just burn brighter than anyone ever imagined. It's an amazing metaphor, and as you're about to see, it's pretty much exactly what happened. So to really get this club, we have to go back, way, way back, before any soccer ball was ever kicked. We have to go back to the event that gave this team its name, its identity, and its entire fighting spirit. Okay, so back in 1871, this absolutely massive fire just tears through Chicago, leveling a huge part of the city. But what happened next is what really matters. Out of all that destruction rose this incredible spirit of resilience, of rebuilding, and that spirit came to define Chicago's character. That event is the absolute bedrock of this club's story. And here is where it gets so specific and so cool. The club wasn't just randomly named The Fire. No, they were officially founded on October 8th, 1997, the exact 126th anniversary of the start of the Great Fire. This was so intentional, weaving the city's history right into the club's DNA from the very first second. And if you think that's a cool connection, it gets even deeper. The people who started the team? They were actual members of the Chicago Fire Department, the very people whose job it is to run towards the fire. So that spirit of courage and civic duty was baked into this team from day one. All right, so you've got this incredible backstory, this amazing name, but a great name doesn't win you any games, right? Well, what happened next in their very first year of competition is honestly the stuff of sports legend. The year is 1998. Major League Soccer is still pretty new, and the Chicago Fire are the brand new expansion team. Now, expectations for a first-year team are usually, well, let's just say they're pretty low, like on the floor. And that is the key phrase right there. No one, and I mean no one, saw them coming. They were a brand new club, cobbled together with some international veterans and young American players, and they were about to do the absolute unthinkable. They didn't just have a good season for an expansion team. They won the double. In their inaugural year, they took down the dynasty of the era, DC United, to win the MLS Cup. Then just a week later, they won the US Open Cup too. It is, without a doubt, one of the most shocking and successful debut seasons in American sports history. Period. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's a great story, but it was probably just a flash in the pan. Well, you'd be wrong. That first season wasn't a fluke. While winning the MLS Cup again proved tough, the club built a reputation as an absolute powerhouse, especially in one tournament. And that tournament was the US Open Cup. It's the oldest national soccer competition in the entire country. And for about a decade, the Chicago Fire basically owned it. It was their playground. Just look at this run. The consistency is what's so wild. 1998, 2000, 2003, 2006. That is 4 championships in just 9 seasons. They cemented themselves as the team you just did not want to face in a knockout competition. And they weren't just a cup team either. In 2003, they also won the MLS Supporters Shield, which is the award you get for having the best record in the entire league over the long haul of the regular season. This proved they could be dominant week in, week out. So we've covered the historic founding and the on-field success, but what about the other stuff that really makes a club? The crest, the stadium, and of course, the rivals. The club's crest has definitely evolved over the years. It started with that classic fire department-inspired Florian Cross, which was amazing, and it shifted to a more modern look. But the core ideas, the colors, the symbolism, it's always been tied to the city of Chicago. Their home stadium has been a bit of a journey too. As you can see, they started at the legendary Soldier Field, spent more than a decade in a soccer-specific stadium out in the suburbs, and then in 2020 made this huge return right back to Soldier Field, putting them back in the heart of the city. And hey, what's a great story without some great rivals? They've got a classic old-school MLS rivalry with the Columbus Crew, a fan-created trophy called the Brimstone Cup that's on the line against FC Dallas, and a new, fiery geographic rivalry with the team down in St. Louis. But at the end of the day, a club is nothing without its players. And over its history, the Fire has been home to some absolute legends of American soccer. You see names here that are just pillars of this club. Jesse Marsch, the ultimate workhorse in midfield.
Ante Razov, the stone-cold goal scorer. And of course, the maestro, Piotr Nowak, pulling all the strings with an incredible 48 assists.
The club has this really special way of honoring these guys, too. They created the Ring of Fire, which is basically their own Hall of Fame. And is it any surprise that their first ever captain and creative genius, Piotr Nowak, was the very first player they inducted? It was a no-brainer. So when you boil it all down, what makes this club so special? Well, it's that origin story, tied directly to the city's soul. It's that unbelievable double in their very first year. It's their dynasty in the Open Cup. And it's that deep, undeniable connection between the team, the city, and the legends who wore that jersey. That history really sets a high bar. This club has seen some incredible highs, and it leaves us with this big question for the future. With a legacy that was literally forged in fire and victory, what's it going to take for the Chicago Fire to find that spark and burn its brightest once again?